Okay, well, we are live. We're having a few challenges here this morning. I am remote. My lovely wife, Stephanie, is helping me through it all. So I appreciate her patience and I appreciate your patience, as well as Cory's patience through it all. Cory, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very
Excellent.
much for the opportunity today.
Excellent. All right, so we are changing it up a little bit. So I just want to say good morning. This is the beginning of season 3. My name is Ted Clouser, host of Win the Minute, Win the Day, the show that focuses on bringing hope to the chaos. Today, we do have Cory Carlson as our guest. As an entrepreneur, former executive, husband, and father of 3, Cory understands the pressures working parents face. He is passionate about helping business leaders win both at work and at home. 20 years in corporate America gave Cory amazing opportunities as he worked his way up to the executive level. But he also saw brokenness, work without purpose, strained marriages, and absentee parents. Business leaders, especially, were often not living life to the fullest. When Cory discovered coaching, it helped him become a better leader, husband, and father. So he left his corporate career to help other leaders achieve a healthier work-life balance. Currently, Cory lives in Cincinnati with his awesome wife and 3 amazing children. Cory has a civil engineer degree from the University of Missouri and an MBA from Rockhurst University. He is the author of Win at Home First, an inspirational guide to work-life balance. His book was Amazon's #1 new release in 3 categories and listed in Forbes as 7 books everyone on your team should read. And if that wasn't enough already incredible stuff, Cory is also the host of Win at Home First podcast to help business leaders win at both home and work. Wow, welcome to the show, Cory. It's an honor to have you.
Well, thank you very much, Ted. It's fun to be here and share some of the things that have worked and have not worked in my life, which brought me here to this moment.
No doubt. Well, I had the chance to meet you not long ago and was super excited about your story and encouraged to bring you on the show. So let's just jump right in. What is an approach you have for personally waking up with a go win the day attitude?
For me to win the day actually starts the night before, and we've all heard that said before. But before I go to bed, I write down the 3 things that I'm most grateful for that day. Basically my wins and how it took place. It's kind of an interesting story how it all happened. About a year ago, I went to a coaches summit. I'm with an organization called 5 Capitals where we do coaching. And so we get together once a year. And I took my daughter with me. She is now 17. At the time, she was 16. I took her with me. And one of the exercises we did where, we kind of did an assessment on ourselves and we broke up into 2. And I shared mine with her and she shared hers with me. And so, I thought she's going to love everything I had to say. It was going to be so wise. But instead, as she heard me say everything, she said, "You sound angry." I was like, "What? What do you mean I sound angry?" And as we talked about a little bit more, everything that was on this basically SWOT was things I wanted to get done. I'd already moved on from things I had accomplished. And instead I was focused on what was left to do, which led me in the sense of not satisfied, incomplete, not content, all these different emotions because I was on the chase. I wrote 1 book. I was already thinking about a second book. I did some speaking workshops. I wanted more. And after my daughter said that to me, it actually was an eye-opening experience. And so that night, I started writing down 3 wins for the day. I've been doing it for a year. And so that's how I start. And so when I wake up, I notice my posture just a lot better in the day.
Well, I think a lot of the viewers can relate to that. They can acknowledge that they too are chasing after what is fleeting. And so I appreciate your vulnerability in that. Well, tell us more about your Win at Home First, the book, as well as the podcast, and the impact you've personally seen from both.
Yeah, so for me, I never thought I would write a book. I never thought I'd even launch a podcast. That wasn't necessarily on my radar. I was a corporate guy, and I loved it. I had a lot of fun doing it. There came a moment, it ended up being about 9 years ago, where I was taking my identity to work. If I had a good month, I thought I was the man. A bad month, I thought I was going to get fired. My work-life balance was getting messed up. I was skipping out on family activities here and there, skipping out on the gym. You asked about win the day. I have a great morning routine now that I do that involves reading my vision statement, spending time in the Word. I was skipping those items as well, and so with all that, I hired a coach. And after hiring the coach, it changed my life so that now that's what I get to do now for a living, which has been pretty cool. But part of when I was coaching executives, I would get hired to help them with their business. What's the vision and values? How do we do the culture? And what are the KPIs we want to go after? And so that's what we talk about. But what I'd find out is there was, usually another piece. Maybe they were skipping on their own workouts, or I could tell that they'd not been on a date with their spouse in a while, just through some of the questions. And so I kept saying this phrase is, hey, we're going to work on the vision values for your company, but we have to win at home first in order to build a sustainable company and in order for you not to reach burnout yourself. And so that's kind of how the phrase started, was just saying it to clients. And I kept saying it enough that eventually I was like, that'll be the book title.
Well, it's a great book title. I love it. I mean, it clearly defines the challenges that we face. And if you don't win at home first, you're not going to win at work. It's mentally too much.
What's interesting about that, Ted, is I posted on social media, hey, do you like these different titles? And I had a few different titles that I was, posted out there. And one of them was win at home first. And somebody wrote they did not like that title at all because it meant someone would lose. And I was like, you just affirmed that this is the title I want, because I truly believe someone will lose. If you are not focusing on both home and work, someone will lose. So that's how the title happened.
It suits. I like it. Well, what's a memorable story that you can share on when you had to live out winning the day?
I love the phrase win the day, because I think every day is win the day. And I know that sounds like kind of a easy out answer, but I got a couple. Right away, the first thing I think about is today's the first day back from Labor Day. We all come here with these long to-do lists. It's very, very high, as well as our energy's low because we played hard all weekend. Some of us were in the yard, some of us went to different parties, some traveled. And so you come back and you're tired. So the first thing to win a day on a short week like this is doing the non-negotiables, focusing on what you need to get done and not worrying about the to-do list, having grace for yourself to continue to press forward.
Stephanie, I appreciate you. All right, so to re-ask the question, Cory, in 2016, you felt a nudge from God to dive headfirst into full-time leadership coaching. Can you tell us more about the specifics of that calling and the path God's had you on in the past 5 years?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some of part of my story is helpful to others because it's a transition. As I have clients and I talk with them, a lot of times they're thinking about maybe that nudge that they have. And so, for me, I enjoyed my corporate job. I loved it. I really did. But what had happened is, as I mentioned earlier, I had hired a coach. I saw a change in my life. Well, my last corporate job, I was president of sales for a national contractor. So I had 30 sales guys throughout the country who worked for me. And these coaching tools are the ones I use. So I was talking to them about, what is their purpose? And so we got them thinking more about purpose over profits. Talked about them being intentional with their kids when they're at home, dating their spouse, putting together like a life vision statement, as well as different priorities to think through. And when I saw them change, I was like, well, this worked in my own life. I've now seen it change in, 30 people's lives. During that time, our EBITDA, our company profitability improved. So I was like, I want to go do this for a living. If this worked in my life, help these individuals, this has got to go help more. So instead of 30, 3,000, 3 million, wherever this could go. So that began the idea of this nudge of, I want to go do this for more. Now, God had to do a lot of work in me because I had my identity tied to my corporate job. I love the title president of sales. I was always a sales guy. Now I was running a sales organization, my salary. There were so many different pieces that I needed, kind of to unwind from and to work from. So the nudge began, and then it began a whole nother journey, which I'm sure we can talk about.
I love that because we could talk for hours, and we've had the opportunity to talk a little bit before this. And I love this story because it's so relatable to me, and I think so many people out there can relate to that identity, that unhealthy identity crisis that we battle with our job versus who we really are as a husband or a father or a person. So your book is certainly one I would highly recommend everybody get a hold of. I know I've not had a chance to read it yet because I'm traveling, but I look forward to read it cover to cover and get those pearls of wisdom. Well, Steph, I don't know that we've had any questions come in on the feed. Okay, nothing. So it has been a challenge, and I appreciate it. We're still going to go win the day through all this. Again, I appreciate Cory's patience through it all. But Cory, you've gone through a successful day. Everything's either, what you're over. Let's just say that. How do you personally unwind after winning the day?
And so after I unwind, it is at the end of the workday. Usually I think through, I plan for the next day. I start to look at what's, tomorrow going to look like, just so I can start mentally even thinking about it. And then from then on, after I'm done with the workday, it's family time. It's hanging out with, my wife, my kids. It's fall season, so I'm coaching my son's soccer. So there may be some soccer practices we have to attend. Other nights, my daughter does gymnastics, so I'm usually carpooling. But it is about intentionality with the kids. There was a time in my life the laptop was always on my lap. That is no longer the case. I am just intentional hanging out, and so that's the best part, is kind of at the end of the day getting to spend it with them, talking to the kids about what were their ups and downs for the day, and me sharing mine as well. Family dinners are a big piece of our rhythms and predictable patterns. We can't do them every night just because of different activities, but we try to get all five of us around, and those that can't, we definitely, the ones that are around, we all eat dinner together.
I love it. Well, that's something that people need to remember the value of. Those dinner tables, priceless.
They are. Because so much can be said there. You've got your kids contained. Everyone talks about social media and the kids spending time on technology. But when you're around the table, there is no technology. At least that's the rule in our house. There's no TV. You're sitting, hanging out, and it's so fun. We've had some amazing conversations. And you as a parent, you've got to be intentional around that table. You can't be the one looking at your phone or looking at your iWatch. You can't be the one wanting to get up. And so it's just being there, being present, uh, asking maybe challenging questions at the time, but also just being fun and hanging out. Usually we got music playing in the background, and so they are a good time.
I remember, and we're about to wrap up, but I remember one of those times when the kids are old enough, they go, "Wow, Dad, you actually are fun to hang out with." And I'm thinking, I've been telling you that for years.
That's right. That's right. And we've got to make sure we are fun to hang out with, and not just always cracking the whip, telling them to make their bed, telling them to get their homework done. We've got to do those things, but we also got to recalibrate and make sure we're fun, make sure we're encouraging, make sure we're loving. And so that is what we've got to make sure we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, Cory, thank you so much for being our guest today, for your patience as we work through some technical challenges. And, I just would encourage everybody to go follow Cory, connect with Cory. He's somebody you want in your network. And on that note, go win the day every day.